What's good? What's good? What's good? Let's go here. I was preparing for my next video, but so we got P. Diddy closing arguments, and we'll see what that's about. The Breakfast Club, they like copyright my shit, but usually it's okay as long as there's some music. So we'll see what happens. So before we get started, let me make sure that y'all can hear me first, so I'm not just talking to myself looking stupid. All right, we good on that, and let's get cracking.
Rest in peace to Walter Scott.
I didn't hear none of that. I guess they're not talking about Diddy yet. I had to put my earphones in. Why this top dog law? All right, let's do it.
Told us the whole time we've been in court, and they specifically pointed to they took the full day yesterday. Them out on Instagram at Top Dogs Handle It. Now let's get back to the show. All right, y'all. So yesterday in court, closing arguments began. So the prosecution is up first. They took the full day yesterday. Yesterday was a very long day, even though it was a shorter day. So basically, what they did in their closing statements or closing arguments were they took us back through a lot of the stories that they've told us the whole time we've been in court, and they specifically.
There's a verdict coming soon. I thought it was supposed to be I thought it was this week, but I don't know no more.
Specifically pointed to different charges that these stories prove. One of the things that they spent a lot of time on was the Mann Act, and they were trying to basically have a conversation about what actually what is required to prove that Diddy was flying in these different escorts and blah 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 blah, like all those things, right? So directly the prosecution,
she said the Mann Act. I want to look that up real quick. The Mann Act passed and blah 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 was named after James R. Mann and invoked the Commerce Clause to felonize the use of interstate and foreign commerce to transport women. Sexual trafficking. All these big words to say sex trafficking.
Prosecutor is telling the jurors, you don't have to worry about if force was required, fraud, coercion, or even the consent, because you don't need any of that. As long as we can prove that there were these people flown in and that Diddy was allegedly he was the one paying and organizing this, that is the charge. They did a lot of laying that out yesterday.
That's what they got R. Kelly on. They got R. Kelly on several violations of the Mann Act.
They brought up R. Kelly a lot in the day before in the charging conference when they were talking about how they were going to word the instructions to the jury. You do a lot of case law to say why you're able to argue for certain words and things of that nature, and they brought up R. Kelly a lot of times, probably 4 or 5 times.
Cassie say that she flew people in as well and paid them as well and took care of all of that?
But at the same
That's tough, man. Everybody else doing illegal stuff too, including Cassie, but because they're not on trial, it don't matter.
Time they literally had communication that they showed on the screen yesterday from Diddy that is he's talking to escorts, he's asking for their information for flight stuff, he is transferring money different places.
But is he saying sex? Because I thought he was part of that was he was paying them for comfort.
See, now that is the thing. So yes, his team is arguing that they were paid for their time and their discretion, but the prosecution is saying that is ridiculous. And what they did use to point to that at one point was there was a communication between Diddy and one of the escort services, and he was complaining because the escort that they had, didn't want to say rented, that sounds so unhuman, but the escort that they hired didn't finish or whatever. So Diddy was he couldn't even complete the job, but he never said what the job was. Right. It was very vague. So that's going to be a point of argument as well. But
Diddy moved like he knew he was going to get caught, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that took majority of the time in court. Yesterday, court was so packed, y'all. I've never. So the main courtroom, of course, was closed by the time I got there because I was here, and I was told that there was a ton of family there. So his sons are there, his daughters are back, his mom is always there, some of his son's friends, all the things. But the overflow room itself was like packed. You walked in, they had to escort us to a backup overflow room.
Really? Okay.
There was so many people there yesterday.
It was closing arguments, right?
Yeah, but
that makes sense.
Yeah, but today and the actual the day that the verdict comes out, of course it's going to be even crazier. So court has gotten back crazy again.
So
I want to watch. Hold on. What was he finna say?
Today.
So today the defense is going to go. So the defense
Gotcha.
will start having conversations about what their closing arguments are, and they're obviously going to argue a lot of what you just said, like
Because it has to be proved.
All right. I don't want to watch a 26-minute video. These don't say how long these are. Is this live? Let's see. This was just uploaded. Let's go to this one. Because I guess we're in real time.
Prosecutors say they hope to rest their case by the end of today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking and racketeering trial. One of the final prosecution witnesses was a former assistant who testified last week about the work culture while on Combs' staff. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now from outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. She's been covering this trial since the beginning. Good morning, Katrina. Just catch us up on what we missed Friday and what we should expect today.
Good morning, Errol. So you were saying he did tell us a lot about what it was like to work for Sean Combs. And one thing that he said is that Combs liked for his assistants to move like SEAL Team 6. He also said that Combs was someone who did not take no for an answer. And as other assistants have testified, Errol, there were
Can't not be taken no for an answer.
times where he would work for days without sleep. But what was significant about his testimony is he talked about getting drugs for Sean Combs and also setting up what he called Wild King Nights. We've heard of them as the Freak Off or Hotel Nights. This is also someone who is one of the only Combs aides who has been arrested in affiliation with this investigation, Errol. Back in March of 2024, he was arrested because he had cocaine in his possession. He testified it was actually Sean Combs' cocaine, but he didn't tell law enforcement that at the time. And when asked why, he said that it was out of loyalty. But also we learned that
I hate these drawings.
everything he did was either at the direction of Sean Combs or Christina Coram. She is Combs' former chief of staff who's been identified as a co-conspirator in this case. So his testimony is
If Diddy goes to jail, Christina Coram is right behind him.
really important for the prosecution and this racketeering conspiracy charge against Sean.
Okay, I want to run it back because I want to look up her Instagram.
Former assistant who testified last week about the work culture while on Combs' staff. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now from outside.
Katrina Kaufman. Katrina Kaufman. I'm probably not spelling that right. Yeah, this is not the same lady. Katrina Kaufman.
News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now from outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
CBS. All right, let's look at some Instagrams. Hunter Biden found. This is old. Hunter Biden found guilty. Yeah, this is really old. I guess she don't update her Instagram. Maybe that's good for legal purposes. Oh shit, hold on.
Consider issuing Sean Combs a pardon.
No, people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it.
Trump said that nobody's asked him yet, but he'd be willing to look at the facts of this case. The two were once good friends, although Trump says that relationship ended after he entered politics.
If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me. It's not a popularity contest.
I haven't seen a spectacle like this trial since I covered Trump's trial.
They're basically talking about P. Diddy. If P. Diddy goes to jail, will Trump pardon him? And because P. Diddy and Trump used to be friends, but from what I heard was when Donald Trump became president, P. Diddy had like led a campaign against him. And, you know, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do.
last year. There are so many parallels between the two men, both businessmen and celebrities who have faced criminal prosecution, including racketeering charges and allegations of sexual assault. Trump has already issued quite a few pardons since he took office, including some celebrity pardons. Just this week, he pardoned reality TV stars and a rapper. We could even possibly see a preemptive pardon. That's something that we saw issued under President Biden. President Trump.
All right, so she doesn't have much else on her Instagram. So we're just waiting, and when we get an update on Diddy, we'll be back, man. We'll be back for sure. If it happens today, we'll be back today. Other than that, man, I got something else to talk about, probably the DDG stuff, and if I have enough time and battery life on my laptop, then I'll educate y'all real quick on some things. But other than that, man, appreciate y'all for watching. Instagram, Dee Brown LTD. I got an audition for a game show today, so it's a pretty good day today, man. So anyway, man, hope you have a great day. Happy Friday. Deuces.